Second wine we're tasting today is Waterford Jem 2006 vintage, the current release. The Jem has been a project which we've been involved with for the past 10 years. That's why the whole farm was designed. It was the way it was, vineyard-wise and planting-wise, is to get to this point. Obviously making the straight varietal wines like Shiraz and Cabernet for us was an experimental platform to get to these wines at the end of the day. For the Cabernet and Shiraz, we used blending varietals like Cabernet Franc, Merlot, Malbec, Petit Verdot, Sangiovese, Barbera, Mourvedre. And through those combinations in the last 10 years of working with it, we realized which combinations work, which don't work so well, and the aging potential of wines. And ultimately that led to the 2004 Jem, which is a maiden vintage. At that stage it was an 8 varietal blend which we released. The succession after that, 2005, was 7 varietals, and the 2006 is 6. From one vintage to the next, we really have no idea what varietals is going to play a role in that vintage. It's really dependent on the vintage. So we'll taste through the batches from that specific vintage and isolate the wines we feel strongest about. And then we'll start the blending process. We don't look at previous blends made from the Jem. It really starts from scratch. The blending process might take up to about 6 or 7 months to decide on the final blend. And even after the blend is decided upon and made at an early stage, the blend ages together as a unit for a year in barrel. And through its process of racking, we might amend the blend again. So we might add things again. Obviously, we can't take anything away in the long run. So it's a bit of a risky call, but with a little bit of experience and knowing our vineyards quite well, which is reaching about 12 to 13 years at this stage, we've really come to grips as to what works together and what doesn't really mesh together. We feel the Jem is representative of the property as a whole, not representative of a single varietal being a dominant character in the wine. I think that's the intrinsics of this wine, is it really supports the site rather than just a varietal. So quite a deep wine, intense layering, but ultimately not a big, robust wine. We don't over-extract, we don't over-oak. We want to have a wine as elegant as possible so that every nuance can speak for itself and not dominated by being a lot of tannin, a lot of extract, alcohol or oak or whatever the case is. Rather the subtleties coming through, each on its own, and then representing itself. On the nose you'll find deep mocha spice, that's the Shiraz component of the Mourvedre coming up to the fore right now. Obviously it's much stronger on the aromatics than the Cabernet component. The Cabernet for us is much more based on the palate structure and the density of wine. There's a slight hint of little chalkiness coming through from Cabernet Franc, which is a hallmark of a Helderberg slopes. Obviously those wines need a lot of patience to really open up. On the palate is just its freshness, clean, pristine fruit without heavy cloying tannins, not a lot of extract, just the subtlety of all the varietals coming together without being dominated by one single thing. We believe this wine is representative of what we can do best. It's a work in progress, but we're into vintage number 6 now with the Jem. Who knows where we'll be in 25 years' time.